Switch 2 with NVIDIA SoC confirmed, perhaps the most leaked gaming console in history. I mean, look, dude, what did you expect? What were you expecting, Soup? Oh, no. So? What are you paying for the latest Apple device? What are you paying for the latest Apple device, Soup? How much is that costing you? Exactly. How much is the Switch 2 supposed to be retailing for? More like 400. That's what they're shooting for. So when you're taking into consideration, and look, I mean, I've said it for years now. 3 to 4 years now, I've talked about the current iteration of the Switch being well underpowered. Well underpowered, in my opinion. And it needed a tech refresh, at the very least. If not an entirely new piece of hardware years ago. You know, if not an entirely new platform years ago, it needed a tech refresh, right? So for years now, anytime you see anything come out on the Switch, and I'm not talking about the Switch 2, I'm talking about the current hardware of the Switch. It looks dated. It looks old. And even their cartoony styled stuff looks old. It looks jagged. It looks ancient. It doesn't look modern. And I've talked about it for a long time, but this is the thing. Nintendo's gotten away with it. And they continued to make money with it. People continued to buy it. So there was nothing prompting them to move in a direction of a tech refresh, a hardware update for the first Switch, anything like that in any kind of timely fashion, because they were getting away with it, man. You know? And this is what I've said the whole time. We knew that they were going to be shooting for... They're trying to push this out at a $400 price point. It could be closer to a $500 price point. But at that price point, what's that mean for the Switch 2? It's not going to be a device that is anywhere close to modern hardware power, right? Nowhere even close. And what does that also mean? It is going to age very, very, very quickly, just like the first Switch did. That means that, like, so we've always expected the Switch 2 to be somewhere probably specs-wise between a PS4 and a PS4 Pro, something like that, right? It's looking like that's where it's going to be. Yeah? And we're talking about a time where we're like 2 years away. 2 years away from like 2.5 probably years away from PS6. And the Switch is coming out with a new hardware refresh at a PS4 to a PS4 hardware spec level. It's not going to age well. Again, Nintendo gets away with it because of the kinds of content that they make first party wise, right? They're more into the family friendly, the cartoony vibe. It allows them to kind of slide through with this underpowered kind of hardware a little easier than somebody like Xbox or PlayStation would be able to, right? But we've seen it plenty of times where these more realistic looking games, more high fidelity more high graphical fidelity kinds of games try to be ported over to the Switch. Look at even something as old as The Witcher 3. looks like total balls on the Switch. Hogwarts Legacy, you know, I mean, but this is what Nintendo, you know, this is what Nintendo wants to do. They want to try and tread that line between underpowered hardware and a very reasonable price point for consumers, right? And so this is what we get. And they're going to ride this flipping hardware out. You watch. They're going to ride this hardware out just as long as they did the original. Hey, shut your pie hole, buddy. They'll ride it out for 7 roughly years, and it's going to be severely underpowered at that point. It's already underpowered compared to modern technology, right? I mean, when the Switch 2 releases, it is already a generation behind. It's already a generation behind. When the Switch 2 releases, it's going to be sporting PS4 to PS4 Pro power specs, right? And we already have a PS5 Pro. It's a generation behind. So, I mean, I don't know if anybody is surprised by this. You shouldn't be. We knew this was going to be the case all along. It doesn't feel good, in my opinion, but this is, you know, this is the problem. So there's always going to be a trade-off for a mobile device, which is power consumption. You've got to figure out, and mobile devices have come a long ways, but there's still a big trade-off when you're trying to figure out how you can best fit in performance versus power consumption, right? And it's a tough thing. Price, performance, power consumption. Nintendo wants this to be a very reasonably priced device. They want it to not be sucking a ton of power and to perform okay. And that's what we're getting. So nobody should be surprised here at what this is. I'm not. I don't think it feels great. It's gonna be. It's already gonna. 3 to 4 years from now, I'm gonna be looking at the Switch 2 and go, God, this looks old as crap. Everything on this device looks old as crap. You know, just same thing as the first Switch. And the first Switch is an absolutely industry-defining device. I will never take that away from what Nintendo's done there. They're very good at that. But it needed some kind of tech refresh. It needed an update at the very least to that hardware well before what we're getting right now. And this is already a generation behind. It's already old. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. People should have known exactly what was coming here. Switch 2 is a highly anticipated update for Nintendo fans. The original Switch handheld gaming system sold millions, but an update was long overdue. It still features an NVIDIA Maxwell graphics technology. The new system is said to include an NVIDIA Ampere, which is not the newest technology either, but it may help reduce costs. The updated Switch is rumored to use the NVIDIA Tegra T239 SoC, featuring up to 1,536 CUDA cores. We now have a first look at this processor, which does not mention T239 explicitly, but instead uses internal code names. You see pictures of it here. The alleged Switch 2 features SK Hynix DDR5 RAM with a total capacity of 12 gigs. Users can also expect improved thermal management with visible heat shielding around the memory and CPU. The Switch 2 will also include a USB-C port, a game card slot, and magnetic connectors. Because apparently the controllers are now magnetically connected. They're not slide-ins anymore. They're magnetically connected is what it's sounding like. But they still look like the same small, crappy, non-ergonomic controllers, Joy-Cons that they had on the first gen of the Switch. As others have pointed out, this board has different markings compared to the prototypes seen previously. It might represent the final retail board, so only minimal changes are expected. This leak appears to match that of the previous rumors, including a mock-up of the Switch 2 console with PCB lacking electrical components. In this case, we have a full motherboard equipped with memory, storage, and SoC. Yeah, so see your controllers. It's beyond me, dude. It's beyond me that their controllers are still just these goddamn little, basically rectangle that don't fit in the palm of your hand with any kind of curvature. It's just, Jesus Christ. I don't expect them to be big. I've got kind of big hands, so, you know, but to not have any kind of curvature on these at all, it just, from what I've seen at least, it doesn't look like there's any curvature on these. And it's just terrible to hold on to these things, man. Switch 2 has experienced significant leaks over the past few months. Seems associated brands, case manufacturers, game developers are growing impatient with Nintendo's delay in announcing the successor, which has been a topic of speculation by leakers for more than a year. The Switch 2 should launch this quarter, some speculating it may be already this month. So you can see here the how it stacks up to the like original Switch OLED and the Steam Deck. And I'll link this so you guys can take a closer look at it, all right? But it shouldn't really be a surprise or anything here, you know. Stuff. And again, Nintendo gets by with what they do with their kinds of first-party games and stuff, but I don't know. I think 3 years from now, we're going to look at it and go, man, this thing really needs a, you know, an update hardware-wise.